I bought the cheapest e-bike on Temu, but is it any good? Let's find out right after this. So I've been wanting an e-bike for quite a while, and when I stumbled across this one listed on Temu for $266 for free shipping, it came out like $283 with tax. As I mentioned, ship free. Now, as you can see, this box is really beat up, like shockingly beat up. But the problem is, I don't know whose fault that is. It could have been FedEx because it was hung up in Kansas City for several days before it moved again. So they may have just tried to repair it. There's a lot of duct tape on it, so I don't, again, this could just be FedEx fault. But there's a very large hole on the side of the box over here, which you guys can't see. And I'm obviously worried a bag of screws or something could have fallen out. So assuming you see this video, that everything is there, because if you're not seeing this video, it's because I was missing something. So I've been wanting, as I mentioned, I've been wanting an e-bike for a long time, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I'm cheap. And this one was just too cheap to pass up, because I want something just to be able to casually ride through my neighborhood, have some assistance going up hills, because I'm 53 now, something that can help me out, even if I want to just ride it without any pedaling at all. This bike should be able to do that. Now, my understanding is this has a 400 watt brushless motor, a 13 amp hour lithium ion removable battery in it, I think a top speed in a 20 mile per hour range, and they're rated up to 35 miles range. That seems awfully high compared to other ones I've seen listed similarly to this. But I'm not too worried about that. I don't think we're riding it that often, but then again, I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is, let's get this beat up box opened up, make sure everything is here, and just kind of see how easy is it to build it, how good the instructions are. So it looks like the bike comes mostly assembled. That's really nice to know, because I figured I have to do a lot of assembly, which is usually the case when you order stuff like this online. But it looks like pretty much everything is put together. It looks like you have to put the seat on, and you have to get the handlebars up and attached. And it does look like the chain for the bike is off. I don't know if that's supposed to be the case or not. That's a little concerning, but it looks like it's okay. Here's your charger in here for the charge the bike. But yeah, you gotta attach the pedals. There's a little safety manual in there, but I don't see any instruction manual. That's a little bit odd. So maybe it fell out. It could be, I think it's a deal. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think you can download the user manual from the Temu website, and I think that's probably what you're supposed to do. And I will do that so I can kind of get an idea on what I need to do with this. So I was correct. There is a user manual on the Temu website or the Temu app. It was right below my order. And you were just able to click it and you can download the PDF. And it does have some assembly instructions. I wouldn't say full assembly instructions, but it does tell you how to attach the handlebars and the seat. It doesn't mention anything about the chain, so maybe it's possible it just fell off. So that'll probably be the hardest part, getting that and the pedals attached. But first thing you want to do is I'm just going to attach the handlebar. So it's already wired up. So all you're going to do is, first thing you need to do is, let me lift the bike up, it's quite heavy. First thing we're going to do here is you fold this piece up. Now it's already locked into place, so I'd have to get a screwdriver to pop it and put it down, but it's down this way. And you raise it up, it snaps in. Then you're going to take this little locking piece here, you take it up and then lock it down. And now this is attached, and then at this point you're going to put the handlebars on. Now when you attach the handlebars, you probably want to wrap this wire around it like this, so that then you have, the wire's not way out and just flopping around in front of the bike. So if I can get it up in here, we should be able to get it in. There you go. And then you can just lock it in like that. And then you can adjust the height, of course, that you want it, sort of depending on how tall you are. Now we're just going to go ahead and attach the seat, and I'm going to work on the pedals and the chain. So now I'm going to try to attach the chain and the pedals. One thing I noticed here, and it's a bit unfortunate, but there's some damage here, superficial, to the decal and to the actual paint here on this side. That's just, again, the box was so damaged down here when it came that obviously that's what's happened. Considering how cheap this bike is, it's not something I'm going to probably complain about because this shouldn't affect anything. It just kind of looks like it's more used. It's just from the poor shipping. But this chain needs to be attached on around both sides here. So I'm going to work with that a little bit and get that attached and then get the pedals put on, and we should be good to charge it and test it out. All right, that was simple enough. I mean, it was really easy to put this together. I'm kind of surprised because I kind of thought this would be a lot more assembly. A little bummed out about some of the damage here on the paint on the other side, but you know, it looks good on this side. And again, for this price, it's kind of hard to complain. So they do give you 2 sets of keys. This allows you to put it in your little ignition here. And what this does is one direction all the way up, it will allow you to unlock the battery and remove it. So you can charge the battery with it removed from the bike, and this would also prevent someone from being able to steal your battery, because this is obviously the most valuable part of the bike. And then you can go to like an off position, and I think this is the move the battery off. If you just want to turn it off when you're done using it, and all the way down is on. And right here, we can see we got some lights here. So I'll go over that in a little bit. I need to kind of familiarize myself. You've got like 3 different kind of modes here. Here's a horn. You have your light. The light comes on here in the front on that button. Here's your throttle right over here, and you have those different indicator lights. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge it. So you have a charging port here on the side. You'll swing this open. We'll plug that charger in there and charge this up until it's fully charged, and then we'll test this bike out. All right, so I've done a little bit of testing with the bike now. And overall, the instruction manual was pretty good, though it didn't really explain too much about actually how to use the bike. Now, if someone like myself who has never used an e-bike, I kind of thought maybe the different gear selector was more of a mode selector, because it does mention on the Temu list, and you can ride it as a normal bike. You can use the electric assistance while you pedal, or you can run it as a full e-bike where you don't have to even pedal. And I thought maybe that was a mode selector, but it's actually just sort of just deciding how you want to do it. And then you have the selector up here, which it does say on the instruction manual is a gear selector. That's exactly what it is. So I showed you some of this when we were inside, but I'll show you guys here now that I have a little better understanding. So let's get it focused in here. Now, this is your lights. So let's go ahead and power it on. Let's go to this side first. This is your power. And this is just your battery meter. So full, half, and empty. So all 3 are lit up, so it's full. I imagine it'll just be yellow and red whenever it is half full. And if the battery's really low, it'll be just 1 red light. And then over here, you've got your light. So if I click that on, this little light will come on down here. So there it is. And then the horn, which I showed you guys a while ago inside. And then this is that selector, and this is just your speed. So if you want to start out the slowest rate, you just start at 1, 2 is your middle rate, and 3 is your highest. So what you do is you just simply pedal if you just want to ride it without any electrical assistance. So this is your throttle right here. So if you don't twist it like a motorcycle throttle, then you can just pedal it. And it's not super easy to pedal, but you can ride it that way. If you want assistance while you're pedaling, then you give it some throttle, and the more throttle you give it, probably the more assistance is giving you, and you'll really feel it kick in, as the pedals will be much easier to pedal, and the bike will start moving on its own with you. So I guess that's the mode a lot of people ride in. You're still getting some exercise, but it's a lot easier. So considering that it's harder to pedal than a regular bicycle, I think riding around just pedaling without any assistance would be very difficult. Good exercise, but not easy. So you probably want to give it some throttle while you're riding in that mode, so you get a little assistance where it is, going. It's pedaling freely, is what I'm getting at. And then it'll actually probably feel easier than a bike, and it's going to really come in handy when you're going up a hill. But you can just stop pedaling and just rest your feet on the pedals and use the throttle, and it's going to continue to go. Now, it does have disc brakes in both the front and back. So here's your brakes, and they worked quite well. So it stops on a dime. So I was really impressed by that. So at this point, I just want to get it outside and kind of give you some impressions while I ride it around the neighborhood. Okay, so I got the tires aired up. They don't have a lot of air in them. They say like 36 to 43 pounds. I put 36 PSI in them. They feel like they're pretty good. Let's take the bike now out for a ride around the neighborhood. Fast it goes. I actually have done a little short test on this yesterday. And one thing I noticed is, you know, it doesn't go, it's not, you know, at my weight, I'm towards the upper edge or upper end of the weight limit of 220 pounds. And especially going up this hill, like you got to have it in a third rate. This hill is not really steep, and I'm not doing anything now. I'm not giving it any throttle. I'm just letting it coast down the hill. But I feel like the third rate's really the right speed for when I want to pedal. But boy, it's really easy to pedal. Like it feels like I'm almost doing nothing. Now the disc brakes here, they work, look at that, they stop really well. Like that was on a dime. But that's full throttle there without me pedaling. And like I said, something lighter, this will be better. We're going right into the wind, so if there's any wind noise in the mic, that's why. The pedaling will actually help the battery last longer. That's I was a little uncertain about that, but my friend Brian over at TDR EBIKES, I was asking him, and he said yes. You pedal, your battery will last a lot longer, which I kind of thought. And it gives you some exercise as well. So I can really feel now that I'm going uphill and the electric motor just doesn't have a power to move me as quick as I want. When I start to pedal, then I can feel the resistance because I'm actually doing something. When I'm going downhill on a level surface, it feels like you're just doing nothing when you're pedaling. So I don't know if the pedaling's just taking some ease off of the motor and the system, or if it's actually recharging it. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure on that. But so this is full throttle here. This is a slight incline, and we are in the third rate. So as you can see, moving along decently. Now the first time that I took this out, actually not the first time, I did it today. Right before I started filming this, and the chain fell back off again. Remember, it was not on it when it had fallen off when we opened it up, and it fell off a while ago. Like it felt like I kind of bind it up and it fell off. So I don't know. I don't think the chain's supposed to be off whenever you get it, but if it is, it's not too hard to get it back on. But it feels like it might be a little bit more slack than you want, and that's why it popped off again. It kind of suck if you're out and about, but the good thing is you got the electric motor, so if the chain's off, as long as it's not hitting anything, you can still use the e-bike aspect just to go back. Like right now, I'm not pedaling at all. Now, I'm going to need to pedal going back up the hill. This hill going up to my house is quite steep. So we've still got full battery. You can see I'm giving it throttle here all the way in the highest rate, and it's really creeping up the hill here. So if I pedal, it's going to be a lot better. And this is not difficult pedaling because you're still having that assistance from the motor. But if I just let it go, you can see this is the speed they're going. It's okay. But a little pedaling helps out, and just pedaling in general, you know, it's going to help you with your exercise. Overall, not too bad a little bike, considering the cost. You know, there's certainly a lot better bikes out there. All right, so that was a fun little ride around the neighborhood. Overall, not too bad. It's not particularly fast, especially if you weigh towards the end, or the edge, I should say, of the upper limits of this weight. Restrictions on this is 220 pounds. I'm about 205, so you know, it doesn't move real quick, so you definitely want to be in the third rate. And as I mentioned, the chain did fall off on me once. But overall, I don't think this is too bad considering the price of around $283 after, that was with tax, $266 before. That price will vary because all these prices, they move all around on Temu, but you can certainly find quite a few of these listed under $300 in the $280 range, and they'll all be different variations of this. Now this one doesn't come with the display, the little LCD screen. Some of them do for a little bit more money or a little bit larger capacity battery. If you're looking for something that can move around someone in my size or bigger, you want to go with something more expensive. If you're looking for just a first e-bike, you don't want to spend a lot of money for someone who's my size or lighter weight, I think this is probably not too bad of an option. As you saw, there was quite a bit of damage in the box during shipping. Again, I don't know who to blame for that, so I'm not going to necessarily blame the seller for that because it may have just been FedEx being extremely rough with the packaging. And most importantly, that caused this damage on the paint and the decals, which again didn't really affect anything, but it does make it look like it's a bit used. Overall though, I don't think it's a bad bike, you know. So again, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you want a bike just to casually cruise the neighborhood, this is probably for you. If you want something that's faster or can handle a lot more weight, then you want to go with something more expensive than this bike. Now I'll put a purchase link down to this bike or a similar one. Last I checked, this one was out of stock, but there should be other ones just like this. It just may not be the exact same price. I'll link to that on Temu. I'm sure they have these on probably AliExpress, so lots of times if they're not local warehouse in the US, there'd be a lot of shipping to ship it over here. And Amazon has quite a few as well, but they're a lot more expensive. And many of them, even if they're a little more expensive than this, they have like $120, $150 shipping fees. So Temu is kind of the best deal I've found for a combination of low price and free shipping, because this shipped out of California. I'm in Illinois, that's why it got hung up for several days in Kansas City. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel and you like tech stuff like this, or drones, RC, that kind of stuff, then stay tuned to the channel. And if you're, make sure you click the bell, that way you're notified when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a great day.